the works of masters and the word of the master, classical music and the gospel of Christ on the Master's Touch, 98.7 DZFE.
Welcome back to Maestro Filipino, the weekly spotlight on the local classical music scene on the Master's Touch, 98.7 DZFE. I'm Daniel, your host. Back in September, violinist Diomedes Saraza Jr. took the Samsung Performing Arts Theater by storm when he debuted as the Philippine Philharmonic Orchestra's new concertmaster and artist in residence. On December 6, he will take to the limelight, this time as soloist in Jean Sibelius' Violin Concerto in D minor for 𝗙diese, the third concert of the PPO's 40th season, Forte. The work is not new to Saraza, who practically grew up with the Sibelius Concerto, so how does he keep performing it with fresh ears? Saraza tells us more about that and his time so far with his new ensemble, the PPO. Without further ado, here is our guest, PPO Concertmaster and Artist-in-Residence, Diomedes Saraza Jr. Good evening, Dio. Thank you for joining us on Maestro Filipino. I know you're incredibly busy. So what do you have coming up?
So it's December 5, my piano trio recital with John Henry and Victor. And December 6 is with the PPO with Maestro Grzegorz Nowak. And I'm also the soloist for that one and the concertmaster.
I'm sure everybody is intrigued that you are now the concertmaster of the Philippine Philharmonic Orchestra. What has it been like?
It has been great working with the Philippine Philharmonic Orchestra. And of course, to the Maestro Grzegorz Nowak. The move there was kind of a surprise, actually. It was during an intermission after I performed solo the 𝗙cie Violin Concerto last April.
Yeah, the closing of last season.
Yes, the closing, and Maestro Nowak talked to me, and I didn't know at that time that there was an opening, but he invited me personally right in his dressing room if I would be interested in becoming the concertmaster and the artist in residence. He calls it the super concertmaster. Immediately, of course, with Maestro Nowak's invitation, I was very honored and very excited to get that invitation. So far, it has been great. I mean, I was able to play 𝗙𝗫𝗀𝗀𝗀, which is like the rite of passage for concertmasters. And then two great soloists so far, Maestro Shlomo Mintz and Miss Sarah San Ambrogio. So thankful, and of course, so thankful to CCP and the PPO, President 𝗙𝗫𝗀𝗀𝗀, Sir Dennis Marasigan, Sir Eugene de los Santos. They've been so welcoming, and of course the musicians. So far, it's been great. The way it's defined in PPO is that I will be playing solo during the season. And on top of that, I'll be helping them shape the orchestra with the auditions. It can be a panel for auditions, especially for the strings. This is the first time ever that they had an artist in residence. So we're still kind of defining what it is, but it's the playing that is very important to me. So I want to make sure that the playing with the orchestra is great and I'm able to play solos, lots of solos. And we're hoping for recordings coming up with Maestro Nowak.
Very soon you'll be performing Sibelius' Violin Concerto. Why choose this piece? You say it's very special, but I'll let you talk about that. Why the Sibelius Concerto?
Sibelius Violin Concerto has been very special to me. That's the one I debuted in Carnegie Hall with the Philippine Philharmonic Orchestra and Maestro Olivier Ochanine back in 2016. To me, that piece is just so personal to me. I mean, everyone who knows this piece, it takes so much emotion and of course, technical virtuosity, but to me, it's the emotional capacity that I think I have, especially after personal things that have happened to me. I think it's going to be a different Sibelius Violin Concerto, but to me, the way you play this piece is not just the notes. You need to offer something to the table emotionally. So I'm very excited to do that once again with the PPO. And of course, with Maestro Nowak, I'm very excited to hear his interpretation as well, because this piece is also symphonic and it almost feels like it's violin versus orchestra sometimes. It's very thick in texture. I'm just very excited that I have this opportunity to play with Maestro Nowak and PPO, this Sibelius Violin Concerto.
And the interesting thing about it is it's almost like a piece you grew up with. This is like a friend that you've known for many years. Going on to what you're bringing to this concerto, how has this piece grown with you? How do you present this piece, this being something that is so frequently played already?
I started this piece when I was 13 years old, 14. So I'm not going to reveal my age, but it's been a long time of working with this piece. But as my teachers would always say, when you work on something you've worked with before, you look at it with fresh eyes. And especially if you haven't played in a long time, that's actually a blessing. And then you go back to it and then review. But for me, I grew up with it for sure. That's the perfect description for it. With my age and experience, it's looking at the big picture always. And what does each movement, what do they offer the listeners and the players and the performers? That's more like my question. And of course, learning the notes again, relearning it and reviewing new fingerings, new bowings, it changes whenever I play it. But to me, there's a deeper meaning to it. And I tend to apply all the experiences I have in life whenever I play my instrument. So definitely have more experience than when I was 14 years old. So it will definitely come up in the Sibelius Violin Concerto now, 2024. And also different conductors, different players. It's PPO, but it's a different PPO now than 2016. So there's new nuances and subtle changes when you perform it. I would say it's never the same, especially with the way I play. Sometimes I practice this way and then, I'm very guilty of that. And then the next day it's like totally different. So I think that's what makes it exciting. Maybe not too much of a change within the day, but definitely not the same. I don't think it will be the same as 2016 when I played it, or 2019 or 2022 when I played it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, finally, what is your vision for the PPO as concertmaster?
Well, for now is just being content with what we have and making sure that we maximize the playing abilities of everyone and the quality. And to me, everyone is so talented in PPO and the potential is so high, especially with Maestro Nowak's approach to rehearsals. He doesn't waste any time. So to me, that's perfect because that's my approach too when I rehearse. I don't want to waste time. I want to make sure that everything is done. We know what we want. So we try to make sure that in rehearsals, we do the same thing. We get right on what we want to happen, what kind of sound we want. So creating new tradition, for me, it's the playing. It's just the playing and, maximizing everything that the players can offer. So for now, that's really the focus. I'm just so excited to keep playing in the season concerts.
violinist Diomedes Saraza Jr. and pianist Evan Solomon in Franz Waxman's Carmen Fantasy. Dio, who is the PPO's concertmaster and artist-in-residence, takes the solo in Jean Sibelius's Violin Concerto in D minor for Fantasy, the next concert in the Philippine Philharmonic Orchestra's 40th season, Forte. Also on the program are Gioacchino Rossini's William Tell Overture and Piotr Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 5 in E minor. Music director Grzegorz Nowak conducts. Fantasy happens December 6, Friday, 7:30 p.m. at the Samsung Performing Arts Theater in Makati. DZFE will hold a pre-concert talk at the theater lobby at 6:30 p.m. For details, visit the Cultural Center of the Philippines Facebook page. That is all for this Maestro Filipino, DZFE's weekly feature for fine music in our locale. Each episode airs Saturday at 12 noon, the following Sunday, 12 midnight, and lastly, the next Thursday at 8 in the evening. Maestro Filipino episodes are uploaded every week on our SoundCloud and Spotify channels. Once more, this is Daniel, and thank you for listening.